Welcome, everyone. This is Cindy DeRossett calling in from Queen Creek, Arizona. I am so excited to be on this call tonight. The first call that we did in this series last week with Samantha Paisley and Randina Marie was absolutely just giving all of us chills from the hairs on our head all the way to the tips of our toes. We got so much feedback from every person just saying, man, this is exactly what I needed. This is what has been missing. I needed to hear this, and really feel like that they were a part of just this amazing circle of women that, are coming together. And, when I say coming together, what I mean is coming into your own, coming into alignment with what your soul purpose is, coming into that place where you are no longer struggling with mindset, belief patterns, mindset or belief patterns. You are getting into alignment with the things that you actually need and want and desire in your life. What were you put here for? And, and a lot of calls that I've been doing lately have been surrounding the fact that if you have desires, visions, visualizations, dream boards, all of these things that you want to have happen in your life, but your beliefs and, even core beliefs, things that you don't know that you believe, things that you maybe have been patterns or things that you have grown up believing or were told in your life, things that self-limiting beliefs is really the direction I'm going. If you have things that people told you or, insecurities, fears, roadblocks, comfort zones, all of those things, and if you have those that have not been repaired or healed in your life, and then you have these goals and visions on your vision board, but they are not in alignment with each other, it's going to feel like you're constantly on a hamster wheel. And I know that I can visualize a lot of people raising their hands saying, yes, that's me, that I have all these visions and I have all these dreams, but I seem so far from it because my self-limiting beliefs, what I think about myself, how I treat myself is not in alignment with my purpose and the things that I want and desire in this life. So I want to share with you guys a little bit before I bring Randina on. I want to share with you guys a little bit kind of where I came from and as far as, becoming an entrepreneur. And I always have felt that I would be always an entrepreneur. I joke and say I'm an only child and I make a horrible employee because I don't like being told what to do, and I don't like being in a box. I have big ideas, and and I always kind of felt that I was stifled, with my ideas or dreams and things like that. So I always knew that I would be an entrepreneur, and had some great things where I've owned some businesses, had some amazing success, and and I am personally in direct sales now. I love direct sales. I think it's an amazing business model. But I've been in some businesses that had not, they really didn't pan out. Some of them were struggling, and in fact, I remember the day that Samantha Paisley called me and said, hey, we need to get on this private call with the owner of this new company. And I'm thinking, oh, man, I don't know if I have it in me. And I'm not one of those people that just jump ship and goes from one thing to the next. But I knew I was on this downward spiral. In fact, the company we were with was on a complete downward spiral. And we didn't know how we were going to make it. And, backing up, my husband and I owned a company, a trucking company actually, that was very, very lucrative. But then when the economy hit, we actually lost 84% of our business. We were so affluent when it came to, just blessings and abundance. And, our company was doing about $6.5 million a year in sales, and then everything tanked. And we lost our home. We lost everything that wasn't nailed down or had a heartbeat was sold. We went down to using and sharing one car. I didn't know how I would be able to put food on the table. I remember going back to old recipes where it only cost me $6 to make a casserole, and I was shaking and panicking on how I was going to pay for that. So it went from one extreme to the other. But then this came along, this business opportunity came along, and it was such a blessing, such a blessing to be a part of, because in a matter of, 16 months, I became a six-figure earner in this company. And so I loved that Sam made that phone call, and I remember her telling me she was a little nervous to do it, but I'm so blessed and thankful that she did it. Now, I want to back up a little bit with you guys, and it's something that I'm just now discovering, and it's actually been with the help of Randina, but something that I'm just now discovering. Now, a lot of you may or may not know, but I married my husband in 2003. And we had an amazing friendship, but there was a lot of obstacles between us. And I just passed the year anniversary mark where my husband, after failed businesses and having a lot of personal insecurities and fears, he decided that he did not want to be married or attached to anything. He wanted to just walk away from life. And I call it emotional suicide because he didn't actually physically do that, but emotionally he did, and the bottom fell out of my life. So 2016 was literally the hardest year of my life. But what I'm finding now is that it actually was the best thing that could have happened for me. As heartbreaking as it was, as many times as I found myself on the bathroom floor with snot coming out of my face, trying to deal with my heartbreak and how I was going to deal with being alone and starting over at the age of 45, 46. And but what I learned from this journey is a big awakening. And what I learned also, and this is something that Randina and I worked on, was that somewhere along the way, because I kept saying, man, I had to be smaller. I've always had a big personality. Again, I mentioned that I'm an only child. I always had a big personality. I always had, was not on purpose, but I was kind of always pushed out front and center, I was like thrown into family functions where I was the little entertainer and stuff because I was the only child there. And, so I was always around so many people, and I was like this golden child, I guess you would say. But somewhere along the way, now what I'm learning is that other people's insecurities, other people that saw me as some kind of a threat would make me feel bad for the fact that I had this big light. I had this big, amazing light that I was able to give other people. And so somewhere along the way, I started to put a blanket on that light to make others more comfortable. And so in turn, I ended up choosing a husband that did the very same thing, is, where I would go ahead and put that blanket on my light. Now, the biggest thing is that this is the most amazing man. Honestly, he really is. But because of the things that I never healed myself, and I was not in alignment with my true spirit and who I was and what I wanted to provide, what my purpose was for here, I started to create things in my life that were going to be in alignment with the negativity that was caused in my life. And we can go into a lot of other things on what happens from that, like how physically manifesting, conditions can come from emotional issues and not being in alignment with your spirit and your soul. And we can go into a lot of that. But, what I want to do now is I really want to share with you guys, before I bring Randina on, I want to share a little bit more that, this period of time of heartbreak, I mean, literally, I have had tragedy after tragedy this past year. And but at the same time, I had this amazing business where I was able to help and encourage and empower. And for me, that was therapy, because I was able to focus on helping other people, live the life that they deserve while I was going through my heartbreak. But what a huge blessing it has been for me to be able to be a part of that and see other people grow. One of the things that I want us to know is that, and this is going to be kind of the theme, or part of the theme of what we're going to be talking about today, is that I loved something that I saw the other day, and it's this, and I want you guys to write this down. So grab a pen and write this down, that the light at the end of the tunnel isn't the illusion, the tunnel is. So, and what I mean by that is that so often we see this vision out there and we don't think that we can achieve it. But it's what we think, and it's our mentality and what we believe about ourselves, that's really the illusion. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, is creating and manifesting this amazing, beautiful life that you were sent here to do. You were sent here to be. And all of the things that we have that are hiding us, we need to break free. And, so I want to go ahead and introduce Randina Marie over to this call. I want to share with you guys, Sam had met her, and I remember her calling me saying, I have to introduce you to my friend. She is so amazing. When you're around her, you feel, you're lit up. You feel so loved. You feel so embraced. You feel cared about. She is such an amazing energy to be around. And, sure enough, when I got to meet her, that's exactly what I felt immediately. I felt that the love and the kindness and the power behind this woman of really how what she was put on this earth to do was to help empower women. And but it's not, I don't think we even went over all of the things that she does, and we would be here all night if I named all of the things that she does, but I want to share with you a couple of things. She's an author of The Power of the Woman. She's an intuitive transformational healer and speaker. She's actually known for healing people from the core. And with that comes with something that she and I both like to talk about is we love science. So she is a licensed master neuro-linguistic programming practitioner. What that means is all of the cords and brains and highways in our brain, she helps to really do a little rewiring of our memories. And that's one thing that she and I have worked on together. She's a money coach. She's a life coach. She's a Reiki practitioner. She's helping women overcome their learned and conditioned false identities, because the things that are our hang-ups now, those are false. Those are lies. But you guys always hear me say that, go clear the muck. Go clear the muck. Well, that's exactly what she does. She helps you clear the muck that's keeping you from living your life purpose. So with that, Randina, I'd love to invite you on. Thank you so much for being here, and I can't wait to hear. I've already got chills because we talked about some of the things you're going to go over today, and I can't wait for you to pass along your love and knowledge and just help. So I'm going to pass it on over to you.
Thank you, Cindy, so much. I wasn't expecting that amazing introduction, but I receive it. Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. Yeah, I have had chills all day. I've been preparing for this for probably most of the day. I mean, all the notes that come through my mind. And I actually had an outline that we went over earlier that I was going to go over. And when you and I were in our phone conversation earlier, it was every time we would get on the feeling and the flow of just being in the inspiration, the conversation would just go so beautifully. And every time I looked down at my notes and was like, hey, I'm going to talk about this, it kind of jolted it out. So I decided that I was just going to chuck it in the fuck it bucket and go off of inspiration. So everything that I had laid out is probably not going to get talked about tonight, but sometimes that happens when we're doing these talks. So I'm really, really excited to be here and just share in this divine magic. So before we get into the journey, the metaphysical journey, all of that, let's just kind of come together and really just create this beautiful netting of love and openness between all of us. So everybody, wherever you are, just unless you're driving, if you're driving, then maybe pull over so that you can do this and really feel into it. So everyone, just take a deep breath into your heart center. And as you breathe in, just fill it all up and allow your in-breath to just collect all of the density and breathe it all out. Just let it all go. Let everything go that happened today. Let everything go that you experienced, anything in the back of your mind, anything tugging on your energy. Just let it go. With each in-breath filling up, and with each exhale, just letting it all go. And just energetically, just cut all energetic ties to anything that may have been an issue. What you'll find is that as we go through this journey, by the time that we're done with this call, all of those will be resolved. So just feel into your body and just be here. Give yourself this time and this space. And let's just envision a white light of divine love just surrounding you, surrounding me, surrounding everybody that's on this call now or that will listen to this call. Because the truth is, in all energetic realms, there is no time and space. And allow your heart to be open and to receive all of this divine inspiration that you came here to receive, and allow it to be integrated within you. And in your mind, just say, I set my ego and my critical mind to the side, and I open my heart to the circle of love, to the love in the world, for the purpose of expansion. And I'm going to say a prayer, and you can say it with me. I ask that the divine be with us here tonight, throughout our lives, wherever we are in the world, and connect us together to form this beautiful unity and this powerful energy to bring more light and love to our lives and to the planet. And that anything that is ailing us be solved by the light of love. And that we allow the seeds of blessings that we receive here to create the awareness about the truth of who we really are, and to provide our lives with love and blessings and all that we dream of having from our hearts. And we ask that these seeds blossom and flourish with bounty and abundance. And we surrender all guilt, judgment, self-condemnation to the light, and give ourselves permission, even if it's just for this moment, give yourself permission to feel the love of your Creator, the love of Source, the divine love that is the truth, the divine love that thought you were a good idea to bring to this planet at this time. And just step into that and feel it. And we ask, believing, in the name of divine love, amen. Okay, so everyone just breathe that in for a minute and feel that loving energy. The truth is that the divine intelligence of the universe, that divine love of source and flow really is present in your everyday life. And if you just take a moment to look around and feel it, you'll begin to see more of it and more of it and more of it. And that really is the energy stream that is going to heal any discord or, whatever it is that you need, the bonus or the money or the relationship or the child to behave, whatever it is, this energy, this frequency, this love, this light is going to be the answer to your problems. It is the solution. We're so busy on this earth plane just seeking out solutions to our problems that we get into this kind of monumental conundrum, when if we just stop and take a moment and feel the love that this world has for us, not only do you open up your whole energetic being, but you create a more beautiful, positive living experience in front of you. So I want you to promise to yourself to do that at least once a day, even stepping outside and looking up and just feeling this energy, because it is here to help you. It has the desire to bring more light and love to this planet as we do. That's where we're even getting it from, which segues into your soul's purpose. You are being called. You were called to this call to hear the things that your soul needs your physical self to hear, your earthbound self to know that you came here for a reason. You are here for a purpose, just as much as a flower that blooms is here to live its life and to create more beauty. You have a blueprint. There is something inside of you that is calling you to live a bigger life. And it's time that you step into that and listen to it. And you are already doing it, otherwise you wouldn't be here. So just take a moment to even be grateful for yourself for showing up here and doing what you need to do to make this happen. Somehow, some way, you heard this. You heard that we were putting together this movement, and you're here. So I thank you for that. I really, really thank you for that. Okay, so I wanted to share with you on this part, this call. Last call we went over fear of the unknown and how to really just transmute fear. And one of the things that I was shown today was the way to eradicate fear is love, because the opposite of fear is love. So when you can just even take in those few moments just to tune into that, even if it's only a few minutes a day, you're eliminating so many problems in your consciousness and your reality that you're not even aware of. The trickle-down effect to that powerful energy goes beyond anything that you can comprehend. So it's really important to make sure that you do that you just connect in. Even putting your hands on your heart and thinking of something that you love is generating that energy within your body. And the funny thing is that is the energy that you need to create your dreams and your desires. So I also want to ask you to give yourself permission to put aside your earthly desires. And I'm not meaning to not want the money or not want to be sustained or be a millionaire or anything like that. That is not what I mean, because all of those are good and well. And it's a virtue, actually, to be doing those things, because poverty is the real sickness of the world. So stepping into that and allowing yourself to want those things and maybe just putting them to the side so that they can manifest, because when we hold on to them so tightly, it sort of creates a restriction and a push-pull that we can't allow the divine to do what it does and flourish us. And instead, tune your frequency, your energy to what you came here to do. And that can even be as simple as smiling at the grocery clerk, offering some, even just a smile from across the way of, you're not alone if you see somebody upset. Those little things, they make such a huge difference in the whole energetic scheme of reality that it goes beyond you, and subconsciously you remember that, and it starts to develop this internal knowing of what a beautiful, blessed being you are. And it's so much easier to manifest your dreams and desires when you really can anchor in that truth of who you are, because the untruth that we're living is the truth that isn't a truth. It's what we were taught from the time that we were born until growing up, of all of these societal implants and environmental conditioning about being bad, being in trouble, being not good enough, being this, being that, when in truth that is not who we really are. That's who we've been learned and conditioned to be. And that is actually that part of our identity that's doing the negative creation in our life. So when you step into the knowing that the truth of who you really are is a beautiful light being, and let go of all of the judgment and all of the shit that you just bring with you, you open yourself up to a beautiful reality, a beautiful world, and a beautiful communication with the divine and with other people. It says in the Bible, and I'm not going into religious terms. This is not the point of it. The point of it is it's in every single religious text, no matter what part you look into, whether it's spirituality or Christianity. And they are all actually the same thing. They're just different modalities or different platforms of delivering the same message. So anyway, going back to being in that, the underlying truth of the love that is there, it really does say that when you can tune into that from within, that everything else in your reality will flow. It is the kingdom of heaven is within. Now, when you can allow yourself to absorb that truth, it becomes easier to let go of the external need for validation. All of that false stuff that we acquire throughout our lives needs to just go. So, going into my journey, my metaphysical journey, I actually was born having clairsentient abilities and clairvoyant abilities. And from the time that I was little, I knew that I had these gifts because my sister has it too, and we would be able to just look at people and know exactly what was hurting them. Even if they had a smile on their face and, they were pretending to be happy, we knew that in there we can, the only way that I can explain it with energetic terms of words is that I could see the density within their energetic field. It's not like I actually saw a blob. It was just more of a feeling. And I remember my dad was telling me that it used to kind of freak him out that me and my sister could do that, because he would think that the person was, he'd be like, oh, that guy was such a happy guy. And then me and my sister would be like, no, Daddy, he's sad. He's like this doesn't happen. So when I was little, because of the religion that I was brought up in, I was not allowed. Not that my parents said you couldn't express these gifts, but I learned at a very young age that regulated religion believes that, and I don't think it's so much now, but before, that if you had these kind of abilities that it was of the devil. And so we weren't we learned to turn those gifts off because we didn't want to be of the devil. We knew we weren't of the devil, and so we didn't want to experience those kinds of things. And I went into hiding with that part of myself. Now, what happened when I went into hiding was that I completely shut off of everything. I turned off the God connection that I had. I turned off all of my guidance that I had. I attempted to turn everything off. And from there, I entered an extremely dark period of my life. And that didn't reconnect until I began my spiritual journey. And I began my spiritual journey because things did get so difficult for me. I mean, it was I lived a traumatic life experience up until I really started reconnecting with spirituality and with the God of my heart and with that ultimate power that really is here. And then things started opening up for me, and I started falling in alignment, and all of the things that I was experiencing or that I desired were just starting to flow into my reality. So that is the one thing that I can tell you. If you do nothing else, focus on your connection with the God of your heart and know that you're supported, because when you step into that, your life will become miraculous. So leading to the metaphysical journey, I look back and I can see that I absolutely would take none of it back, because it caused me to research and really delve into every aspect of spirituality that I could get my hands on, which is why now in my work it is a culmination of everything. Everything is real. Everything is an energetic frequency. You just have to go where your heart is and what feels good to you, feels the best, and what feels good to you. So when I was in the dark, I was fighting with life. And the funny thing about fighting with life is that life will always win when you are fighting with life. But I stumbled across a video on YouTube when I was actually going through my divorce. And it was called The Science of Miracles. And if I were you, I will post this in our Facebook group so that you can really watch this. But this movie, aside from the first movie that I talked about in the last call, this movie, I couldn't get enough of it. I couldn't take my eyes off of it. I probably watched it at least 50 times. But what it talks about in there is that the prayer is what creates your prayer. So there's different ways to pray. So you can pray in a way of asking, please, please, please give me this. But you can feel that when you're praying that way, that you're not asking believing, which the instructions are ask and believe and you shall receive. So when you're praying from that space of please give me this, please give me this, please give me this, it really does create much more turmoil for you to receive that thing. And when you're praying from a space of I'm praying believing, like I'm asking for this and I really require this in my life and I know that you're going to give it to me and it is done and I'm thankful to you and amen. That is a different kind of prayer. It's like the rain dances that they would do, in the tribes where they do all the rain dances and they're doing all of these things, but they're dancing knowing that they're going to receive rain. They're feeling the mud on their feet. They're feeling the rain fall on their face. They're getting into this mode of actually having this miracle come into their life, and then it does. So that movie really taught me that I was a creator. And this movie was before The Secret came out. So actually when The Secret came out, that was just like a condensed version of the truth of what it is, of what creation is. And when I figured out I was a creator, that I was creating my reality, I was determined to figure out how and why we create our experiences. A, to get out of my own pain. B, in honor of my mother, which at this point in time I did not remember that. I didn't remember that memory that I was doing it for her until way later. So this just goes to further instill the subconscious programming and the drive that we have, which is also an aspect of our soul's blueprint and what we did come here to do. And C, to help others. So going into the principles of creation, which is what I'm going to share with you today, and I'm also going to share with you a process for generating windfalls that I teach every one of my clients, and every single one of them has results with it within a week. You will see results of it quickly. So that's towards the end of the call. So going over what I want to talk about now is is the first step in the whole equation is to ask, right? So there's the ask, believe, and receive. And within this ask, believe, receive, there's in each category has a world of learning within it. I wrote a whole chapter in my book about this because it's so in depth in each one, and when you can really get this down, and you will be able to manifest whatever it is that you want, that you desire from your heart. You're already doing it in your life. It's just some things are easier than others, and when you don't really have to worry about the steps or try to figure out, the beliefs that I hold or any of that, unless you're coming up against a wall, unless there's something that you truly desire and you're just spinning yourself in a hamster wheel and seems like negative thing after negative thing is happening, that's when you have to go and investigate. But for all the other things, the ask, believe, receive is a smooth, beautiful process, and it's a lot easier when you are connected to the divine and your soul's purpose. So the first step in the ask is this is the creation part. The asking is what is opening up. It opens up the channel. So tuning into how you're asking, your asking is your prayer and your wish. The free will is your wish, your word is my command. What are you wishing for? What words are you speaking? And not just the words that you're speaking, but the energy behind the words. What is it? What is that? Is it an away from, or is it a towards momentum? Are you saying there's that whole fake it till you make it, which is good if you're quote unquote faking it knowing you're going to make it. If you're just faking it and you don't really know you're going to make it, that's just going to further ingrain that I'm a liar. I'm saying this, but it's not true. So it's going to keep you spinning your wheels. But when you are saying, I know this is happening, I know this is happening, and you can feel it in your heart and your solar plexus, what's true and what isn't. So if it's not true for you, it's okay. Just back up until it is. The living from your soul is actually your sustained success. It means that you're in alignment. Now, you're a creator. You know that you are a creator. And there's part of you that's creating by default, and there's part of you that's creating deliberately. And the part of you that appears to be creating by default is the part of you that is getting the kickback from the limiting beliefs and the core wounds. When you become conscious of this, when you shine a light on it, it begins to dissipate. So don't think just because you're experiencing negativity in one area of your life that you have to figure out what it is. Because the second you realize that it's happening, it will start to dissipate. And again, you can just ask to be shown the answer and know that you're going to receive it. So having that alignment and being in that motion, you know that it's time. You know that it is time to step into your divine feminine power, and not in a forceful way, in a way where you are solid and congruent from within, and you are stating, this is what I desire and I will have it because I deserve it and I am worthy of it. I am born of a beautiful creator that created my beautiful existence to come onto this planet at this time. Everyone who comes to my work is a light worker in some way, even if they don't know that that's what they are at that point in time. They have within them the seeds to create a beautiful life experience for themselves and for other people. I always say that your core wounds are the training ground for what you came here to do. A lot of people do not want to look into those core wounds because they're afraid of what they'll find, but that is where the magic is, right?
Mhm. Amen.
It really is. Yeah. So going into your core wounds and all of that, it's obviously easier when you have someone guiding you into it, because then you're not living it from that little girl self that was wounded in that way. You're actually an adult, beautiful being that's going back in to heal that part of you, and then everything else transforms. So it's not an accident that our heart center is the most powerful center that we have. It's the most powerful. It radiates out 5,000 times more powerfully than just your thoughts alone or any other frequency in your body. This is actually what speaks to the law of attraction and the free will, because everything is energy. So whatever you're putting out from your core is going to create the cause and effect. And it's also your guidance system, which is the beautiful, beautiful thing. And then we go, and so that's the asking. Cindy, do you have anything to add on that part?
Well, what I believe in that is, the thing that I love that I have learning through my journey is that when we're really asking, we're asking from our highest good. So think about that when you're asking from your highest good. It's the you with the capital Y. It's the you that sits side by side with God. And because there are no self-limiting beliefs in that space, there's no judgment in that space. There's no pain in that space. It is when you're asking from that place, when you're sitting in that place side by side with God, you're always going to get the answers that are coming from the divine, coming from God, coming from your highest place of where your soul sits.
Yeah.
And so think about that when you're asking questions, be sure that it is not an ego place. And the ego place, I mean, that's where fear is, and that's where self-limiting beliefs, that's the things that we might have been chastised for when we were younger, what we grew up believing about ourselves. That's not where you ask from. So being in the right place and the right mindset and the right physical, chemical space in your body, that's where you're going to get the right answer. So as far as asking, make sure that you're always in that right place.
Yeah, yes, because the energy that you ask with is going to be the energy that you receive with.
Exactly. Because you'll always answer your questions. Your mind is always going to answer you. It just depends on how you're asking and where you're coming from when you're asking.
Yeah, it's your creation. So if you're asking in lack, you'll receive in lack. That's what you're creating. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay, so then the second part is the believing, which this is actually, the belief is what engages the laws. So your beliefs equal your perceptions, and your perceptions dictate your behavior. You have to stop and think, are you reacting or responding? When we react, we're reacting from our ego self, our trigger self, our wounded self. And when we respond, that's when you have the opportunity to respond from a beautiful, more loving place. And that can be really challenging, but when you can master this and you become a mastermind at this, then you really can master your whole reality. So one of the things about perceptions is that the information that we already have stored in our brains is what tells us is the situation. So when you're not allowing new information in, when you're not on a seeking of learning and opening up your brain and creating epiphanies, you only have available to you previous information that you had when you're living from your reactionary space. But from your responding space, you're tapped into that infinite intelligence of divine love that has all the answers for everything that you could just flow through. So the thing for me is going from living this fear, scarcity, earthbound, left side brain logic to the right side, intuitive, creative, opening up that channel of love is the way that you can create a beautiful, harmonious life, and knowing that you're a creator and believing that. Because when you experience any kind of discord, you can just back up for a second and say, oh, wait, what's going on here? Like, this isn't what I wanted to create. This isn't what I said I wanted to create, and this is kind of out of whack. Even if it's in relationship with other people, you actually pull on different aspects of that person based off your own belief system, because we are multifaceted beings. And you are not going to get the same version of, let's say, Joe as I get, because we believe different things. So what does that say? That says that you can create a relationship with any person that you want to if you have the right beliefs that are going to pull on that person. Now, this isn't about living a perfect life. I mean, there's no fun in that anyways. That's why we came here too. It's to get messy. It's to have the bad relationships. It's to have the dysfunction. It's to get in the fight so that we can learn and grow and become more from it. When I look back at my life and all the struggles that I experienced, I wouldn't trade any of them, no matter how horrible they were, because of what I learned from it. It was like, what the heck? And I'm sure, Cindy, you can say that too. Everything that you experienced in your life
absolutely
has brought you to this space, no matter how difficult it was.
Absolutely. And I'm at a place where no matter the struggle, I'm at a place where I'm blessing it. I'm so grateful for it, because it's like I had to have the rug ripped out from under me, because I know that that God, that my highest good, my angels, my guides, whoever, everybody that's in my camp, they've been going, girl, you've been going down the wrong path, and so this is what had to happen, the things the struggles that had to happen. But this is when we need to be aware. When you become awakened, it hurts. It's your body hurts and your heart hurts, but you cannot grow and make any kind of changes to live the purpose that you were put here for until you can go through that. But you gotta go through it. You gotta stop the madness. I know something that we're gonna probably talk about here in a second, but women are ingrained to nurture and help other people. That's just who we are. We're here to help other people. But what we forget is that you can help other people and still honor yourself. And I think that's what gets missed. That's what gets missed, and I think that's the whole core about empowering women. The whole core of these calls, what we're trying to do for you guys is don't miss your power. The love that you have, honestly, needs to be first for yourself, because you cannot. It's like the oxygen mask on the airplane. You cannot help others if you are not balanced and empowered and caring for yourself. So yeah, absolutely. I love that I'm going through this, even though no matter how hard it is, because I know what's coming. I know I'm elevating. Yeah. I know I'm awakening. I know that I am being washed new, and my eyes are open, and so this is such a blessing that I'm embracing this pain, even no matter how hard it is. But I had to do it. I had to get out of the place I was because it was not serving my highest self. So back to you.
Yeah, and also knowing that, you have the wisdom to seek out not only the help that you need, but to surround yourself with other women too, because you know that you're not in this alone. And I hope that that is a takeaway for everybody on this call. You are not in this alone. Like, every one of us has gone through hell and back, right? Every single one of us has gone through it. We want you to know that we are here for you while you go through this. Everybody is supporting you and rooting for you, and you really are not alone. It was in my darkest times was when I was trying to do it alone. That is, you cannot do it alone. It's so painful to do it alone. When you have love and relationships and friends that are, a group of empowered women to help you go through these, you can become in that space that you're in. Well, yeah, I know I'm going through stuff, but this is what's coming from it. I can clearly see what the end result is, and it's more beautiful than I could have ever imagined.
Well, and on let me hop in on that. I'll piggyback, because what I have had from my core group, my girls, my soul sisters, and this is something that, Randina, that you've been doing for me lately, is even when I catch myself, or actually you might catch it before I do, and I will speak words that are not for my highest good, like I really want that abundance. And and what you do to me is you take me by the shoulders and you turn me to make me see you already have abundance. It's already there.
Yeah, and then what happens?
Yeah, you have to step into it. It's already there. Everything that we want and dream for, it's already happening for us. We just have to step into it. And so by having this circle of people where we can empower and love each other. And I don't want to sound all goofy, but it is. It's a very, very. It's so important to be able to link arms, hold hands, connect hearts with everybody else that's whether they have been down the road. It's not like I might have. I'm more enlightened than the next person, but I'm like a helicopter. I'm down the road a little bit further than you are. I've been through the obstacles. I've gotten over the speed bumps, the avalanche in the road, all of the things. I can kind of see what's coming because I was there first. And I really believe that you're given, now understand this is something very powerful. You are given the things in your life not only as a lesson and to redirect you and empower, but elevate you to your next highest, where you should be living, where your spirit should be on a higher vibration. If you're living in fear, that's such a low vibration. But when you can go through these tough things and overcome them, it's such an amazing thing for everybody to understand that you aren't given these things for anything other than to take yourself to a higher place, but also to bring people along. You can now help other people with the same exact things. I can't talk to somebody about the loss of a mother because my mom hasn't passed away yet. But the other things that I have gone through, I feel like I need to wear like a badge or an award, or because I excuse my language, but all of the things that I have gone through that have been difficult, I am a fucking warrior. Excuse my language, but I am so proud of the things that I have gone through and the obstacles that I have, battled, because it's gotten me to a higher place of awareness and getting to the place where God intended me to be, what my soul purpose was. I was so far away from it. So yes, I love all of this. Love it. Okay.
I know, me too. And I also love that when you do start stepping into that, things just start flowing to you. When you are redirected, you get the abundance. It's a little tweaks in your day that it's like, oh wait, no, I was prophesying, not making it to my appointment, but I'm going to say thank you for the magnificent outcome of this, and then you make it, and everything runs smoothly. It's like those little things, those little pivots that we can do on a day-to-day basis to remember. It's about waking up. When you're living in fear and scarcity, you're denying what you really came here to do, because some part of your earthbound self is telling you that what you really came here to do is scary. It's not scary. It's scarier to stay where you are. There is so much regret in death and dying. 8 out of 10 people die with regret. 8 out of 10 people. They say that 70 to 90% of the world does not live to be 70 to 90 years old. They don't live for 70 to 90 years. They live the same year 70 to 90 times. I think I heard Derek Rydell say that. When he said that, I was like, whoa, that's so true. It's like, you gotta wake up your consciousness. You gotta elevate yourself out of this rut that you're in. You have to ignite that power from within you and take control of your life. And when you take control of your life and you can move forward, you can create a beautiful experience so that when things do happen, when there are life lessons for you to experience, it doesn't hurt as bad. It doesn't hit you as hard. You know what's happening, and you're able to recover so much quicker than you were before. So, and going into the emotions and what you're summoning, your emotions are your guidance system to what you are literally summoning in your life. So if you're living in fear and scarcity, you really are attracting more of that to your life until you learn that that's not the truth, that the truth really is the faith and the trust and the love that there is something bigger and something bigger planned for your life. Your strong desire can override any belief that you have. As long as you have a strong desire to pull through it, you can override it. It's harder to sustain it when you receive it if you don't have a solid foundation, and we'll talk about that in the next call. But it is possible to override your beliefs. You just want to make sure that you have the beliefs to sustain it, which is what happens a lot of times with people is when they want to manifest a large sum of money, they will get the money, but then they may not be able to keep it. I did that for so long. It was like I would do, $30,000, $40,000 a month, and then at the end of the year, I'm like, okay, where's my $225,000? Like, what the hell did I do with it? And it was just gone. And it was because I was getting rid of it as fast as I was receiving it, because my beliefs didn't support having it or believing I was deserving or worthy of it, which bypassing that, aligning with your soul's true purpose, you don't question it. When you know that you're giving from your heart and people are receiving it and they're paying you for your gifts, it's different when you're really in alignment with your soul. And whether your gift is selling someone a product or selling someone a book or selling someone a coaching service, it doesn't even matter. When you come from the place of your heart and you know that the value that you provide, you will be able to sustain it. And sometimes that takes belief work also. But for the most part, just hearing this and constantly immersing yourself in this information is going to get you there 70 to 80% of the way.
Right.
A lot of it really is done to you as you believe. And a lot of the reason why I experienced so much darkness is because I believed inherently that I was bad, that I wasn't deserving under the surface. I really didn't love myself. But if you would have asked me, do you love yourself? I would have said, yes, I love myself. But I wasn't loving myself. I really wasn't. I was doing things to my body that aren't loving. I was saying words to my body, to myself, every time I look in the mirror that weren't loving. And all of the experiences that I was having was complete in my face. You're not being loving of yourself. And so, when people say, oh, you have to love yourself in order to experience, it's like, okay, well, what the hell does that mean? Because you can say, oh, I do love myself. I do this, this, and this. But if you are doing things to your body, if you're not taking care of yourself, if you're not doing the things that you know you need to do, you're not at 100% level of loving yourself. And the thing about it is when you really switch into getting into that frequency of loving yourself, all those other things just happen naturally. It's not it's not a fight, you know. It's not a I shouldn't be doing this, and so I'm not going to do it. It's not even that. It's more of a I'm just going to choose not to do that because I don't feel like doing it. And if you do feel like doing it, there's no negative repercussions because you're not in that frequency anymore of that self-punishment. Right. So I didn't really understand, though, that I was experiencing all the things that I was experiencing in my life because I thought I was bad. And even in the work that I was doing, it's like you'll look back and you'll see that you've been guided to where you are, and all the pieces of the puzzle will start to add up, and you might not even know why you did certain things until way later. But I know when I was in a session with one of my clients, and this is when I learned about false identities. This is when she was probably one of the first really in-depth clients that I worked on when I started to really tune into my gifts and had the download and the experience of being able to untangle energy for people. With her, I could not believe it. So what happened was, I'm just going to call her Sarah just for, the protection of her privacy. So she was experiencing so much discord in her marriage and her relationship. Her life was literally falling apart. She had no control over her children. She was angry all the time. She was feeling like we were talking earlier, just giving herself and not getting anything in return. She was gaining all this weight no matter how much she was going to the gym. She started to develop these tumors all over her body, and everything that she tried to do, she couldn't do. Everything that she touched would break down. So in a session with her, when I asked her subconscious mind what the root of it was, it went to a time when she was 2.5, 3 years old, and she was with her mom at her mom's friend's house, and she thought she was going to be a big girl and use the potty by herself. So she goes into the bathroom to use the potty by herself, and she ends up bumping over this statue off the back of the toilet, and it shattered and broke. Her mom busted in the bathroom, ripped her off the toilet, and started spanking her. And her mom's friend, who was a man, came in to the bathroom and was like, "What are you doing? Stop spanking her, stop spanking her." So she's just sitting there crying, couldn't believe that her mom was doing this to her in front of people. So that developed a sense of, when I try to do good things, I ruin it. So it was reflecting in her marriage. When she was trying to do good things in her marriage, she was ruining it. And that's literally what she was doing. When she was trying to do good things for her children, they were not appreciative of her. They were, they were just kind of bashing her. And it was because she had this underlying internal belief that when she tries to do something good, it is destroyed. She does that bad things happen because of it. So from the time she was 2.5 years old up until the time she was 32, she carried this with her and was constantly repeating it. So it caused her to go on this crazy fix of trying to be the best, to know everything that she could know, to know the most that she could know. And if she didn't know something, if she lost an argument, she was completely devastated because her validation was destroyed. And it was something that she didn't even have any memory of consciously. It wasn't until we went in and that was the link to it. Just like Cindy, when you and I were talking, and it was like somewhere along the lines you said, "I don't want to be the star of the show anymore." You didn't even remember that is what you had said consciously, because it's not a conscious. For me, I didn't even realize that I wasn't experiencing the level of success or in any area of my life that I desired to, because I had this internal belief that I was bad, because my gifts and my religion taught me that was bad, that I must be bad, I must be a bad person. So I'm constantly recreating these scenarios, and even when I try to help people before I cleared this, it wouldn't work out well. And the thing with her is, she would try to fix her marriage. It wasn't working out well. She was on the verge of a divorce, and she was married for, since she was 18, so a very long time. So after you get your conscious mind to see that this belief is not true, because the truth is she really was trying to do something amazing, and her mom did overreact, and it wasn't right for her mom to do that to her, and it didn't mean that she was bad. And when all of that was dissolved, she came out of that. All of a sudden, the very next day, she sends me a message. Her children are respecting and loving her. Her marriage is no longer in turmoil. And she really is in a place where she is beginning to love her own self and being able to carry this out into the world. And you'll see also with you, Cindy, you already know you are stepping more and more and more into your light and really what you came here to do, how much that is blossom. I mean, you already do it. Just like when I first met you, I was like, you're already doing this for people. Look at you on your calls. Like, you have hundreds of people on the line. You have people, bring people to tears with your gift. And it's not, you were not allowing yourself to be fully resonant or conscious with it because of you didn't want it. So having all that transformed. So the point of all of this is to really look, and you don't have to have somebody to help you get through this. The really deep ones that are traumas that are a level 7 pain, higher and above, you do need somebody else to help you because otherwise you're just attached to it as it was, and you'll re-experience it and reaffirm it. This is one of the reasons why therapy doesn't work as quickly as it could. Because you're just reliving it and you're recreating it and then you're prophesying it and then it has to happen again, the essence of it. So one of the ways that you can, and I'll go into this more in depth in the next call to give you like really 1, 2, 3s on how to eliminate these limiting beliefs, is to become aware of them and to become aware of your patterns and to take a step back from your life and just observe it and see where there could be a root to that. Because once you shine the light on it, you start to untangle it. And once I shine the light on the belief that I'm not bad, I've never been bad. I've been saving animals since I was an infant, and children, and protecting bees, and all of these things. So I really literally got into a fist fight when I was in 2nd grade because this little boy stepped on a bee in front of me on purpose, and I got suspended from school. So the key is the knowing also is that it's not your fault, it's your conditioning, and you're being too earthbound and not in full alignment with your soul. And so allowing yourself to really wake up to this. So when you go to sleep tonight, just maybe even say a little prayer. I give myself permission to wake up to my soul, to the truth of who I really am and what I really came here to do. You can even do that in this moment. Let's not even wait. In your mind right now, just say, I give myself permission to know the truth of who I really am and what I really came here to do. And this will set even more momentum into you aligning with your soul and living the life that you came here to live, being the creator that you came here to create, being from love. I believe that the shortcut to believing is getting into alignment with your soul and what you came here to do. And I know this to be the case with everyone that I have worked with. And the amazing thing is I also believe that the seat of your soul is in your heart. Because when you are open from your heart and you can feel into that, and that's where the source of love comes from, and love is the highest vibration on the planet. Not only is it the highest vibration on the planet, but it is also the most healing hormone you have in your brain. Oxytocin will transmute mutant genes to read as regular genes. In petri dishes, in stem cells, it will transmute your DNA to reading normally, to producing normally, to producing faster, to being happier, to being healthier. So what does that say? That says that the energy of love is the highest frequency that there is on the planet and that you can transform anything with that frequency. And the more that you tap into that love for yourself, the more unstoppable you become. It's also, it is the shortcut. And this also happened to be the piece that I was out of sync with. I mean, looking back, I can see that not only was it all in fact and purpose, but everywhere that I was experiencing darkness, I was not tuning into love. I was afraid of it, so I turned it off. But you have to turn it back on, and you have to connect with that. One of the things that I did it was because I was in such a state of turmoil, I knew that I was in a career that I wasn't living fully in. I was expressing my gifts and I was helping people and all of these things, but it wasn't what I came here to do. And it was because I was scared to actually take the leap and do what I came here to do, because what if I failed? If I fail, in my mind, I'm like, well, if I do this and I fail, then what? Then there's nothing for me. So I had to get over that. And one of the ways that I did was just standing outside and asking God to use me as an instrument of love and transformation. Use my life. And the reason that I did that is because I heard Oprah Winfrey say that one time when I was watching one of her shows, that's what she did. And so I was like, that's what I need to do. That's what I need to do. So I went out there and I said it, and I said it from my heart because I really meant it. All the struggles that I've been through, everything that I've been through in my life and everything that I've learned and all of the blood, sweat, and tears that I have expressed cannot be in vain. They cannot be for nothing.
Right.
So use me. in whatever way. And, fast forwarding to now, I am doing exactly what I came here to do. And it feels amazing, and I am being supported, and I am being loved, and I can see everything working for me. It almost baffles me sometimes, like, whoa.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, and that's the receive piece. That's the receive piece, because that's going to be hard for a lot of people too. But you're going to do it. You're going to do it. Don't say that
you
it's
have
hard.
To.
Because the receive piece is that you have to believe that you deserve to receive it.
Yep.
And so what you're asking for, you have to ask for it, and you have to ask for it from the place of your spirit, not the place of your ego or fear. You have to believe that it is there. That's the faith piece. And then the receive piece is the desert. You know that you deserve to receive everything that you were sent here to do. And, like you said, if you are having strife, if you are having obstacles, if you are having pain, it's because you're not living in alignment with what you were sent here to do, your life's purpose. You're out of alignment. You're constantly you're given signs on a daily basis of where to turn in that fork in the road.
Yes.
You're always giving signs, and it always is in your gut. Our sixth sense is absolutely amazing. Our intuition, you guys, every single person on this line, you all have an amazing intuition, absolutely amazing intuition. And so when you can accept that those messages that are coming to you, those tugs that are coming to you of doing something, going in a different way, and I don't care if it starts off with being something simple like a hobby, painting, getting back to being creative, creating something, getting back to that feminine piece of you where you're creating something, where you're doing something that really elevates your spirit and makes you happy. But that whole piece about receiving is very, very vital, because it's all about that you have to know that you deserve to receive where you're supposed to be. Because that's what you were saying for in the first place.
The way that you can do that is tuning into your feminine, because the feminine way is receiving. I mean, women, they receive the seed and create a baby. So that is the area of working on. Now, it doesn't mean that if you don't work on this that you're not going to receive anything, because you've been receiving your whole life. It's just that it becomes more and more loud when you've heard the call, when you've been told you're here for a purpose and it resonates with you and it gives you chills and you know it, and then you ignore it. That's when the crazy controversy will begin. You have to listen to the call, because even like Oprah was saying, it was like it starts out with a whisper and then it becomes a 2x4. And so before, when you were going through tragedies and horrible experiences, you may not have been consciously aware of why you came here and what you came to do. But you're here now, and you're hearing this, and you have to turn those experiences that you had into your core transformation, so that you can hear the call, so that you can move forward. And it gets easier. It really does, once you start listening to it, even little things, because it started with me at little things. It started with meditating. I started meditating every day, and I couldn't quiet my mind long enough to meditate. So I decided that I was going to find some brainwave technology that was really going to do the trick for me. And I actually found this Imrama Institute. You can go on www.randina.co. And on the program page, there is a link at the bottom to Imrama Institute. And it has all of the science and every reason of why it works. But anyways, I started listening to that. So for 20 minutes a day, you're listening to this brainwave entrainment that is synchronizing your brainwaves to all be at the same frequency at the same time. Because what happens is, during the day, our frequencies are all over the place. We're this part of our brain, this part of our brain, that part of our brain, we're crazy, we're in stress, it's just crazy. You can't hear your intuition, you can't hear your guidance, you can't connect, because you're so, you're in the density. And so what this brainwave entrainment does, and it's the only one that I found, and I have actually heard many, many thought leaders who have listened to it after I had found it, and even they write about it in their books. It creates your brainwaves to be in a space as though you were a meditating monk for the last 30 years. So doing that every single day for 30 days, it helps you to get quiet. It helps you to tune in, because it quiets your brainwaves so that you can't have that clutter. Now, I'm all for guided meditations also, but there also is a time and a place when you have to be still and you have to be quiet so that you can hear. And the fastest way to do that is to have technology that does it for you, because I'm not going to sit for 30 years and meditate.
I can't do it. I like the guided meditation.
No,
for sure.
Me neither.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, hey, I got to do this, I got to do that. But that really does help me, and I still, to this day, listen to it every single day. I even listen to it before this call so I can really tune in to what it is that the tribe needs from me. You know, like what messages do you need to hear in order to take your life to where you want it to be. So that does actually go into the receiving piece, and the fastest way to receive anything is gratitude. Gratitude is the jet fuel. You know, when you're expressing gratitude, you're giving, and in that giving, you are receiving. You know, one of the ways to see how open you are to receiving is how do you receive compliments? You know, is it when someone tells you, "Oh, you're beautiful," or how are you interpreting that? Not just on social media. You know, when someone's like, "Oh, you're so beautiful," you know, on your pictures, but when you're out in public and someone compliments you, or you know, tells you they like your shoes, or holds the door open for you, you know, how are you in that receiving energy? And if you're receiving that in flow, then that's really, really good. If you're not, that's also really good, because it's just pinpointing you to, oh, I have to, you know, open this receiving channel and start receiving, and then you start expressing that that ability to be able to be open to receiving, because receiving is the biggest piece. It's the biggest piece.
Right.
You have to be open to receive. You know, you have to open your heart. You have to stand in your power, and you have to be able to receive what's yours. Otherwise, all of this hoping, wanting, praying, wishing for is just done in vain.
Right. Absolutely.
And also dancing, like I said last time, you know, getting into that. I know that some women have a hard time getting into that, but if you just put Pandora on and you put your earphones on and you turn on maybe Colby Calais, maybe some love songs, and you just kind of start getting into that flow of moving and feeling that power of a woman, you will start to open up other the channels in your life. It all starts from within. It all starts with you. It all starts from within, and then it's expressed externally.
That was one of the biggest pieces that was hard for me, because you know I was basically somewhere told that I needed to put a blanket over my big light, and you know, and so recently, even just spreading my hands out as far as I could, my arms open and up in a receiving, like, joyful way, brought me to my knees. It brought me to my knees. I couldn't take it. It was not something that I've always been so, you know, I've been told to close in, to stop, to be quiet. And so when I opened my hands as far as I can up to the sky, and I just sat there and I felt the light and I felt the love coming down, and that I was opening myself back up again, it brought me to my knees. It totally broke me down.
Good.
But it had to happen.
It did. It did have to happen, because from that broken place, then you rebuild.
That's right.
Yep. Okay. So I want to go in and do a visualization, or more of like a self-love guided meditation, and then I'm going to go over the steps on manifesting a windfall. But before I do that, I just wanted to say that everybody that's listening to this right now, I am trusting you to take some kind of action, you know, whether it's praying to the sky, whether it's watching the video, whether it's, you know, dancing, whether it's opening your heart, whatever it is. Do not allow this to just be another thing that you listen to that provides temporary empowerment. You know, do the steps, see that they work, add it to your magical palette for creation. It really, the world that we're living in right now, what's happening right now in the world, in the mainstream, you know, aside from outside of our bubble, it really is only going to get crazier before it gets better. And the world is on this progression just as we are. Like, it has to experience a breakdown before it can experience a rebuild as well, which is why it's so important for us to really bind together in that energy of love so that we can hold the space for that to happen. You know, we really must band together and work together so that the light that the people need, it radiates from us when there are so many people in darkness. You know, you're doing it right now. You're here with us, and I commend you for that, and I thank you from my heart. My soul thanks you. We really want to just create a strong foundation. Like, it really is time for you to step out of that fear and that disability that you have warranted yourself, and let it go and create a strong foundation in our power, looking towards what we are creating rather than running away from what we did create. You staying centered in the eye of the hurricane and calling in all who desire peace and success so that we can build a better world after this hurricane. It's the same thing for your life. Just be aware, be conscious, stand in your power. We're here to hold your hand. It's all about learning, but it really is time for all of us to really just do what we came here to do and stop playing small.
Right.
So with that, I am going to guide us through a beautiful journey. So just take a deep breath and close your eyes. And just allow everything that you heard. Just keep what you want and let the rest go. And just come back to this space, feeling in your heart. And take another deep breath and exhale and let it all go. And tune in to your higher self, your divine guidance, the God of your heart. And feel the love that is here for you, your guides, your angels, all of that beautiful divine power that we have, that we're here. And remembering that we are spirit, we are soul and human bodies having a human experience. We are not humans in a soul's body having a soul experience. We came here to express our power from our soul in our human body to create. Our soul is dominant. And all of those signs and symbols and messages that you get throughout your day, that somewhere in the back of your mind, it really is your higher self. It is. It is. Surrendering the doubt, tuning into the signs, allowing yourself to pick up a book, flip to the pages, find what you feel drawn to, and know that is a message for you and your soul, because it really is. So tuning in to the love in your heart with that knowing. We're going to go on a journey of self-discovery, a journey of connecting with a higher self, a journey of love. So just imagine that there's a white light that comes from the center of the cosmos and travels down into your crown chakra, the top of your head, into your third eye, the center of your forehead, in between your eyebrows. And as this light travels down, it's just filling your body with love. All of your cells are activated and alive and beautiful, feeling this love. And from your third eye, down through your face and into your throat, giving yourself permission to speak your truth, to use your intuition to say loving words to yourself, to others, prophesying your life in abundance and love. And from your throat, down through your shoulders and your neck and your back and your chest, down through your arms and your hands, from your chest into your heart, feeling the love and the opening, surrendering anything that is no longer in alignment with your soul's purpose, with your heart, with your love, allowing yourself to love and be loved and know that you already are. From that love in your heart down into your intestines, all throughout all of your internal organs, into your solar plexus, which is 2 inches above your belly button. This is your power, your sacred power. Giving yourself permission to be powerful in your life and all that you do and all that you create from love flourishes From your power center down into your pelvis, and your ovaries, and your cervix, and your uterus, and all those beautiful divine feminine organs, and your sacral chakra. Feeling the love of your divine feminine power, knowing that you are here to create, and you create from love. Surrendering anything that no longer serves you, releasing any blocks in density that your mind constructs that you have. It is an illusion. In truth, your soul is open and flourishing through your body. And from your sacred sexuality into your root, the base of your spine, your hips, your legs, your knees, your lower legs, your feet. Knowing that you are supported, giving yourself permission to know that you're supported and loved, that you are here to flourish and grow as a creator. From the base of your spine down into the center of the earth, into the core of Mother Earth. And she sends her energy back up through you, through your spine, all up through all of your chakras, all the way up, and out. And from your heart, all three of these energies expand out. You are supported from above and below, and from yourself. And I'm going to take you on a little journey. So just use all of your senses. If you're not seeing, that's okay. Just feel. There's no right or wrong way to do this. And just imagine yourself in a beautiful room. Beautiful room. It can be anything you want it to be. It can look any way that you want it to look. Just see what you would see. The colors, the vibrancy, the beauty. And feel what you would feel. The soothingness, the love, the nurturing, the comfort, the beauty of this room. And hear what you would hear if there are any sounds. Maybe the humming of the divine. Maybe the singing of angels blessing you, happy that you're here. And see what you would see in this room. And I want you to notice in the corner of the room, the far right corner, there's a beautiful mirror. It's just a beautiful, magic, enchanted mirror. And not yet, but in a moment, you're going to walk over there. And when you see your reflection, you're going to see the reflection of who you really are, the truth of who you really are. So just knowing that that's what you're in for, that beautiful treat of experiencing that. And begin now to walk over to this mirror, step by step, feeling the beauty of your feet on the ground. And when you get to the mirror and you look into that mirror, you see the truth of who you really are. That beautiful, sentient, amazing being who came here to love and be loved. And look into your eyes and feel the love that this you has for you. Feel the love of the truth of who you really are. And allow this love to be so powerful and to permeate every cell in your body and to dissolve all untruths of who you are not. And replace it with the truth of your divinity, of your love, of your power, of your perfect creation, of Source, of God, of Creator. Feel the power of this love. This is who you really are. else is an illusion, and vow to dissolve and allow that illusion to disappear now. And as you're looking at her and you're seeing her beauty and her love, your beauty and your love, she has a message for you. So just take a few moments to hear her tell you the truth of who you really are, and feel it in your heart now. Ask her to show you a reminder sign, whatever that may be, that you can hold in your mind's eye and remember this experience and carry it with you throughout your life. It can be anything. It can be a dove. It can be a butterfly. It can be a heart. It can be a rainbow. Anything that your heart desires that it be. Have her show you what it is. And see it in your mind's eye as vividly as you can. And ask her, you, and the God of your heart to show you this symbol repetitively over the next few days, few weeks, months, throughout the duration of your life. And every time you see this, remembering the love and the truth of who you really are, and feeling that into that truth, and allowing that to become your dominant. Express your gratitude for her, for you, for blessing you with this magical moment. And now, carry her in your heart. She is you. And ask her if you can merge with her. And as this occurs, the mirror disappears and she is standing in front of you. And step into her and turn around and feel the power of this beautiful being that you are. And also notice that all around you, the angels are singing. All around you, the world is singing. All around you, we're all singing. And take a deep breath. And you can come back to your body and give yourself permission by saying, I give myself permission to fully integrate this into my knowing. From the core of my being, from the roots of my origins, throughout all that I am, throughout all the energy, across all time, spaces, and dimensions. And see yourself waking up tomorrow with a sense of peace, of love, of joy in your heart, knowing who you truly are and what you truly came here to do. And taking a deep breath and opening your eyes and bringing yourself back into this beautiful space that you're in. And when you really come from this space, you are being such a blessed being for everybody in the world and beyond. The ripple effect of you allowing this to be your truth is beyond all time and space. And at any time in your life, when you come up against anything that troubles you, tuning back into this remembering and allowing it to dissolve. I thank you for allowing me to take you on that journey and for allowing me to go on that journey with you, because I did it for myself as I was doing it for you. Cindy, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good. That was beautiful. That was amazing. And I can imagine, I'm just thinking of everybody that's on this line. And yes, you know, I know we went further past the time that we thought we did, but absolutely, so worth it. Unbelievable just experience that just was immediately just feeling, you know, that who we really are and stepping into that and then remembering it, because we do get caught up with the static of the world. We do get caught up with the static of, you know, the past or triggers or things like that. And this is your perfect new trigger. This is a new trigger. And it's going to always override. You know, the one thing that I always know is that we are 100% responsible, you know, for our life. And that's a tough thing to think about because, yes, we do have tough things that happen, but it really honestly is how we see it and how we respond, what we visualize, our thoughts that we have, and what our, you know, behavior is in turn, and what we believe from that. Because most of the time, if it didn't make us feel good, then it was a lie. So, you know, so this was so beautiful. I love this call, and I love the fact that so many people are, there's a shift happening. This was a wake-up call for so many people.
It is.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, thank you so much. I love you.
I love you too. What was your symbol? I'm curious.
Mine was my heart rock. Remember my heart rock that I found in Sedona?
Yeah.
Mine was my heart rock, but then I also love to see my dragonflies and my butterflies. So, you know, I'm going to just allow all of that.
Mm-hmm. You're like all the fun. Yeah, okay, so you guys post in the Facebook group what yours was, like what your sign was, what your symbol was, whatever that is, and be on the lookout for it. And when you see it, you're going to know not only how powerful you are, but also the truth of your divinity, which is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
awesome.
I thank everybody from my heart, and I love you all, and I'm so happy that we're all here in this time and space and that we're creating this shift on the planet, because it's beautiful, such a beautiful thing. And I love you so much, Cindy, and I thank you for all that you are.
I thank you for all that you are. And guys, be sure to tune in on Thursday, same bat time, same bat channel. We're going to continue this series, and I know you're going to be blessed again with the continuation of this. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap us up. Now, Randina, you were going to do something about a windfall. Do you want to do a separate?
Oh, yeah.
You want to do a
no.
that or?
I don't know. What do you think? Should we do that next call then? Because we're already 30 minutes past.
Yeah, is it something that we could fit into the next call?
Yeah, it's really only a 5-step. It is a 5-step process. It's really easy and quick.
Yeah, I mean, if you think that it would be in the next 5 minutes, then let's do it now. Otherwise, we can fit it into the next call. What do you think?
Let's see.
I think people are feeling really, really just serene and blessed and happy and activated right now. I think I think so too. Let's keep it where we are, and then let's do this windfall because I want to hear it. I mean, I don't. You might have shared a little bit with me, but not the 5 steps, and I want to hear that. And that might be a whole nother direction the brain starts to go. But I think that people should sit in peace with the love that they're feeling right
now.
This
is going to boost. This is going to boost them too. Like in itself is going to give them a huge boost. So okay, we'll do that. It's just on Thursday, so it's only a couple of days. So that's good.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and close this out. You guys have a blessed rest of your evening, and I can't wait to see what you guys post about what your symbols were and what your takeaways were with this. So go and do that and start living in that light. So with that, you guys, this call is officially wrapped. Good night.
Bye.